MVPs, Rico knows here. I'm going to try to be high energy in this video. I am under the weather. I apologize. But it's the main event, UFC Seattle, Henry Cejudo versus Yadong. I owe you guys the energy, so I'm going to give it to you. First thing I want to tell you, go to Patreon. Search Rico Knows. Go check the channel. We have over 5,500 members for a reason, and I've broken down every single fight. I don't just do UFC. I do college football, do anything else where we can make some money. I don't do daily picks or anything. I do take time to do my analysis. Ask the MVPs. The members know what's up. They know what to do. If you don't trust Patreon, you don't want to go to a third app, that's fine. Just hit join here on YouTube. You get the same videos. Okay, we've been doing this for a couple years, and we're right. Now, I always give away the main event for free. I also give away the first fight on the early prelim for free, but the main event, I give it away for free every single week, every single fight card, if you will. And so far this year, we're picking main events at 80% money line. It's a pretty big deal because most main events are two epic fighters fighting one another, and the ROI on that is your business, however many units you want to put on it, if you trust it or whatever, and that's what we do with that. Okay, so I'm picking those at 80%. Lifetime, my locks, over 80%. Shout out to the MVPs. They'll tell you the truth. Everything's there. We're transparent. Okay, let's go. Henry Cejudo versus Yadong. Yadong minus 270 favorite. Henry Cejudo a plus 220 underdog. It's a little absurd. I think these odds are out of whack just a bit. There's no way I can bet on a Chinese fighter to be this big of a favorite over an American great wrestler, former Olympian, all this stuff. And if you guys, if I sound biased and I sound crazy, talk to MVPs. They'll tell you they got a real problem with any Asian fighter because they got no chin. Now, you don't need a chin against Henry Cejudo. So Henry Cejudo's 38 years old. Let me tell you guys a true story, and I'm going to try to keep it concise and to the point so you guys understand what's going on here. I'm a former martial arts fighter, MMA instructor, all that stuff, right? And I used to be an all-army fighter. Used to be a hand-to-hand combat instructor in the military, level 4, blah, blah, blah. I go and take a job, and I'm fighting, and I'm teaching at a gym, and I'm teaching MMA. And I got this kid, he's 24 years old, and he's like, yo, coach talks too much shit. I'm 38 or 39 years old. I'm a little older than Cejudo at the time. This was a couple years ago. And I remember this kid, and I'm watching him, and he's strong. He's cocked diesel. He fights at 205. He's a beast. And I like this kid. And I like him, but I'm pushing him. I'm pushing him because I like him. And he says, yo, coach, I want to spar with you. And I see him, and I'm like, fuck, man, this kid wants to spar with me. Why? Because I'm critiquing him, and I'm correcting him. Now, as a coach, we have a certain amount of ability. We've been fighting for a long time. But we also recognize, like, yo, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, I'm over it, right? I'm tired of molding mouthpieces and going out there and coming out with snot out. I'm tired of training. I've been training for 20 years, 2 decades. I'm tired of it. But the kid's calling me out, and I'm like, yo, he wants to train rounds. So I told him, hey, look, we'll train after practice. We'll do some rounds after practice, and you can see where you're at, and I'll show you what you're doing wrong with your footwork, you know, the way you move outside of a jab, whatever I'm talking to him about, okay? So he's like, okay, cool, yeah, and he's pumped, and he's amped, and he's ready. And for the next 2 hours of practice, hour and a half, whatever it was, I remember I opened up the training session with just 50-50s. 50-50 is a starting position, one underhook each, and then I had them pummel for underhooks. Pummel for underhooks with your partner, and I was like, give it 50%. All right, give it 75% resistance and try to pummel and get these underhooks. No striking, no doing anything else. You're just pummeling. And if you've ever seen this before against the cage, in the octagon, people are always trying to get one underhook, then go to double, then get a takedown. It's the most grueling, exhausting thing you can do in your life. It will blow out your arms. It's just a terrible drill to do. You never want to do it. But I made the kid do it for like 15 minutes. Everybody in the gym's doing it. And we keep drilling and we keep drilling and we keep drilling. Now it's the end of practice. And now you want to scrap with me. But I know I stacked the deck to make it impossible for you to beat me. Okay? For those of you out there who don't understand what this means, this is like making people do lunges. And then saying, okay, you did lunges, you lunged 100 yards, and you lunged 100 yards back, only lunges the whole way down the field. And then you, all right, I'll race you. Okay, I'll race you in a sprint now. And the motherfucker can't move their legs. They can't move their legs. Why? Because we just set them up, right? So this guy, I beat him up, and I teach him, hey, there's levels to this thing. I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm not as good as I was, but I'm as good as I once was. What up, Toby Keith, RIP. So the reason I share that story is that's being crafty, that's being a veteran, that's being a veteran coach, understanding that you need to be able to reel your guys in, but you're a little talented in your approach to making these guys understand what you're doing, right? Those little tricks of the trade is what Henry Cejudo should be doing right now. Henry Cejudo should be in a gym right now teaching people how to become world-class fighters and wrestlers. Like, he should not be doing it himself anymore. He's way past his prime. He's going to be sore for 3 days after one workout. He's just not that guy anymore, and he's not willing to admit it. Henry Cejudo was a 2-time champ, held 2 different belts, and then abandoned the belts, 2 different weight classes, and then said, I'm out after beating Dominic Cruz. Retired. 3.5 years off. Then you come back in, you fight Aljamain Sterling, who will never punch you a day in your life. It's the perfect match. It's a grappling match. It's cool. And you lose. Now, did he really lose? I'm not here to debate that. I don't know. I didn't pick that fight that night for the MVP. So I'll leave that one alone. But the last fight, we did fade him against Merab. We knew Merab was going to win the fight. Excuse me, I'm sick right now. I'm wiping my nose in the middle of a live stream. But we knew that Merab was going to win the fight. It was an easy pick because his cardio is on point and he's just going to go out there and ragdoll you. But still, those are 2 different fighters with 2 different skill sets. It's very advantageous. It's just a wrestling match. And you can come out of wrestling matches, feel fresh, not injured, not damaged, things like that. He's not fighting a wrestler, bro. Song Yadong is... he's the Kung Fu Kid. He's going to go out there and strike. He's going to punish you, and you're trying to close that distance. You're 5'4". This is 5'8". It's different. And to see Song Yadong go the distance with Petr Yan, the Russian boxer, striker type dude, it tells me he's got a good enough chin to go out there and bang. But the guy is athletic, and he's going to get up if you try to take him down. It's going to be that Ricky Simone type shit. Ricky Simone beating him out. Going out there and trying to grapple and impose your will, and it didn't happen. I do think that Song Yadong's winning this fight. I obviously would not be surprised if Cejudo won the fight, but Cejudo should be doing some other shit right now. He should not be fighting anymore. I think he's just doing it for a paycheck. He acts like an asshole at every press conference. He's very unlikable. What do you like about him in this fight? You like his odds. Everybody needs to understand that when you go to the sports book now, I can't show you my chart, because that chart is for the MVPs, and if you want to see it, get the Patreon. You guys know what to do. But when you look at the Henry Cejudo Song Yadong odds right now, anybody picking Henry Cejudo, it's because the idea of Henry Cejudo is pretty cool, bro. The idea of him is great. You know, sometimes I used to sit around after I got divorced. I used to think about my ex-wives. And the idea of being with them is pretty fucking cool. And then you start to remember what it's really like, and then you're like, oh no, I don't want to come home to that. Oh hell no, I don't want it. Sleeping next to somebody who hates you. Oh no, remember what she said about me? Like, oh no, I can't do that. What'd she tell her friends about me when we were going through a divorce? What'd she tell the judge? No, I can never be with that bitch. You know what I'm saying, right? So you gotta keep that in your perspective, in your mind. If you want to bet on Henry Cejudo because you like his plus 220, just go back and watch his fights and just be like, oh no. Nah, he frustrates me. Nah, look what he did. Nah, that guy sucks. Nah, I hate him, man. He can't get it done. He doesn't finish. All this shit like this, right? And at the same time, I don't think you should be on Song Yadong. I'm sorry I give away this fight for free, because this will not be a lock by any means. And when I say a fight's a lock, it's over 80% right for the last 2 years, right? So this is not a lock. This is one of those fights where I'm like, I'm going to take Song Yadong, but I wouldn't bet on him in a million years. I see more value in this fight going the distance. You can parlay that. It's a minus 172 going the distance. Minus 172, and you can parlay that with somebody else you believe in on the prelim, somebody else you believe in on the main card, whatever. But it'll get you to plus 100 money just fine. Pick somebody. I'm going to pick someone. I'll put it on the chart for the MVPs. But if you want a way to hedge your bet on this card, it's going by points. If you like Song Yadong, you don't like him at minus 280 money line. You just don't. Take Song Yadong by points, and it's a plus 130. Now, that's a good enough bet. You can take that straight across and don't need to parlay anything, and you'll just flip a unit and be fine, dude. Make a large pizza. Whatever your unit size is, that's your business. But I like that plus 130. On the other side, if you like Henry Cejudo, you think he's going to get a takedown and win 3 rounds like that, then go for it, bro. The plus 360 there. He's not going to win on his feet. He's not going to look better striking, but he can get in wrestling positions, get a takedown, and dominate from a dominant body position. Plus 360 is pretty juicy. Now, I told you can hedge your bet. Put 1 unit on each of those. As long as it goes the distance, you're not going to lose any money. The outcome doesn't even matter. The outcome doesn't matter, but you are risking 200 or 2 units to win back 0.3 of a unit or 1.3 of a unit, right? So the return on this is 15% ROI if you do it this way. But if you put 100 here on Song Yadong and 100 on Cejudo, if Song Yadong wins, you get back 230. If Henry Cejudo wins, you get back 460. You're still putting 200 out the door. You're either getting back $30 or 260. A win's a win. Stack your money. Now, if you do this and somebody gets a stop, you lost your ass on the night. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, some fights you don't need to get overly crafty. Some fights you don't need to get too in the weeds and try to outsmart the books and all this stuff. Sometimes you just need to walk away from it. And this is a particular fight where I would not be betting on it. If I'm being real, I probably wouldn't bet on the last 2 fights of the night unless I'm losing on the prelims, and I don't think I am. And you're chasing some shit like that, you should not be betting on these last 2 fights. I would highly recommend become an MVP, see what the picks are before the last 2 fights of the night, co-main event and main event, and just relax. And fandom will win out. It's so amazing to be sitting on a stack of money just waving and cheering, and we're screaming into the cam. Rico knows, because we do every single fight card on the Discord server. You go to our Discord stage, only 300 seats available. But you go to the Discord stage and you watch the fights with me. And I provide commentary. I provide live bet advice. And I try to tell you guys, well, we've been doing this for a number of years now. And I don't advertise much. I don't go on Twitter and advertise, Facebook. I don't mess with no platforms. I don't feel the need to advertise. We know who we are. We know what we do. And we get it right. Shout out to the MVPs. I think we're going to make a ton of money this weekend, but it's not going to be on this particular fight right here. I am picking Song Yadong by points. It's not something I would put any of my hard-earned money on. Not a chance in hell. I want you to think about what you do for a living. If some of you guys, if you're not a professional gambler or capper or a content creator like I am, maybe you have a job that you do for a living. Whatever it is, I want you to sit there and think, how many hours would I have to do this for to make up for the money I'm about to lose on betting Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong? Like, just don't do it. Remember, Henry Cejudo, if you're putting money on him, it's like betting on your ex-wife, bro. It's just not going to work out. You already tried to make it work. It doesn't work. So just leave it alone. It might be cool for a fleeting moment, but it's not something you really want. All right? Be smart. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.